long have you known about Andrew and Epstein? Have you asked the police to cover up for Andrew?
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor told Jeffrey Epstein he wanted to be his pet in creepy emails newly revealed in the latest Epstein document drop. The message, simply signed with the initial A, reads, "God, it's cold and dank here. Wish I was still a pet in your family." It's just one of several disturbing disclosures, including a photo of Andrew crouching over a woman on the floor, and allegations from another woman who says Epstein flew her to Britain to spend the night with the former prince. Royal sources say King Charles wasn't aware of these specific bombshell documents before they were released.
Buckingham Palace has said that the King has made clear his profound concern at allegations about the conduct of his brother, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, and that he stands ready to support the police if approached over the claims. Thames Valley Police have said they're assessing suggestions that the former prince shared confidential reports from his time as the UK's trade envoy with Jeffrey Epstein.
This is an email from Andrew to David Stern, in which he says he's having discussions about a company called the Green Park Group. He says, "I know you'll have spoken to the guru." We assume that means Epstein. "It might be that he and you are the ghost in the upside of this entity." Was Andrew suggesting that they be the discreet partners in this business for him? Well, another email puts it more bluntly, this time from David Stern to Epstein. It says, "We very discreetly make PA," we assume that means Prince Andrew, "part of the business and use his..."
I'll tell you, what I find very, kind of ironical, really, is that everybody said, oh, when these files come out, they're going to bring down the American government, they're going to cause trouble for all the people in high places in Washington, it's going to be an American earthquake. Well, in America, basically, they've come and gone and not much has happened. Over in Britain, we've had a massive earthquake. It could well bring our government down.
When a king hands his own brother to the police, you know the walls are closing in. And that's exactly what just happened in Britain. King Charles III has officially told Scotland Yard he will fully cooperate with their criminal investigation into his brother, a man who was once fourth in line to the throne. This isn't rumor. This isn't speculation. This is the royal family publicly throwing one of their own under the bus. And the reason why is buried inside the Epstein files. It started with a photo nobody could explain away. When the US Department of Justice released over 3 million Epstein files in January 2026, buried inside was something that stopped Britain cold. Photographs appeared showing the former Prince Andrew on all fours, leaning over a woman lying on the floor, with another image showing his hand placed on her stomach. His face was clear. Hers was blacked out because, according to a US congressman, she is a sex trafficking victim protected under federal law. Andrew has denied all wrongdoing, but the British public had seen enough. And that was just the beginning. The photos were damaging, but what came next was criminal. Hidden inside that same document dump were emails that investigators say could put Andrew behind bars and have nothing to do with what most people think. Emails appear to show Andrew forwarding confidential trade reports from his official Southeast Asia tour directly to Jeffrey Epstein.
More on this. So, Paul, what exactly do these emails suggest?
Well, we're looking at a crucial period here, Charlene, when Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was a trade envoy. The question being, was he doing his own trades on the side to profit from that role himself? And we poured through the emails in the Epstein files and found several that do raise interesting questions about whether at that point he was trying to set up a business with Epstein, then a convicted paedophile, and also with a middleman called David Stern. He later headed up Andrew's charity, Pitch at the Palace, later on in this whole timeline. So let's take a look at some of these emails. This is the first one that mentions the business. This is an email from Andrew to David Stern, in which he says he's having discussions about a company called the Green Park Group. He says, "I know you'll have spoken to the guru." We assume that means Epstein. "It might be that he and you are the ghost in the upside of this entity." Was Andrew suggesting that they be the discreet partners in this business for him? Well, another email puts it more bluntly, this time from David Stern to Epstein. It says, "We very discreetly make PA," we assume that means Prince Andrew, "part of the business and use his aura and access."
Within 5 minutes of receiving them, Andrew was Britain's trade envoy at the time. Trade envoys are legally barred from sharing sensitive government documents. Those documents reportedly included a confidential memo about UK taxpayer-funded investment in Afghanistan's Helmand province. This isn't just embarrassing. This is potentially a violation of Britain's Official Secrets Act. Thames Valley Police confirmed they had engaged in direct discussions with Crown Prosecution Service lawyers, the body responsible for criminal prosecutions in the UK, as part of their assessment of whether to launch a full criminal investigation. Let that sink in. Crown prosecutors are now involved. Prince William's office issued a statement saying he was deeply concerned by the continued revelations. The future King of England publicly distancing himself from his own uncle. And then came the move nobody saw coming. Buckingham Palace released a statement confirming King Charles will support police in their investigation, stating the king has shown profound concern at the allegations continuing to emerge against his brother. This is unprecedented. A reigning monarch has never publicly backed a criminal investigation into a member of the immediate royal family. Charles didn't stop there. He had already stripped Andrew of every royal title in October 2025, then evicted him from his 30-room mansion on the Windsor estate. Andrew now lives at Sandringham quietly, privately, with no public statement, days after the DOJ released those 3 million documents. A man who once stood beside the Queen at every major royal occasion now can't even defend himself publicly. While everyone focused on the photos, a second woman emerged from the shadows. A woman is alleging that Epstein arranged for her to travel to the UK specifically for a sexual encounter with Andrew at Royal Lodge in 2010. Her lawyer says she exchanged emails with Andrew beforehand, spent the night, and was then given a private tour of Buckingham Palace the following morning. Virginia Giuffre's accusations dominated headlines for years, but she passed away in April 2025. This new woman is alive. She has a lawyer, and she is now on record. The Metropolitan Police have received the report.
Another woman has come forward with claims Jeffrey Epstein sent her to the UK to spend a night with former Prince Andrew. She's hired the same lawyer as the late Virginia Giuffre and could file a civil lawsuit.
The claims have similarities to those of Virginia Giuffre.
We're talking about at least one woman who was sent by Jeffrey Epstein over to Prince Andrew, and she even, after a night with Prince Andrew, had a tour of Buckingham Palace.
The woman, who hasn't been identified, hiring the same lawyer, alleging she was sent from overseas to the Royal Lodge at Windsor to have sex with the former prince in 2010 when she was in her 20s, and that it was all organised by Jeffrey Epstein.
The introduction was made by Jeffrey Epstein because of his close association and friendship with Prince Andrew.
It's claimed to have occurred shortly after Epstein served time for offences involving a minor.
And at this point in time, we have no one to even communicate with on behalf of Prince Andrew. He's seemingly been disconnected from his lawyers.
It's being widely reported to the British press, but not yet addressed by Andrew, who's always maintained his innocence over any allegations of sexual misconduct. He's facing mounting pressure to testify to US Congress as part of its investigation into Epstein.
Here's what makes this story bigger than just Andrew. The Epstein files show that Epstein had access to the heart of Britain's government and royal family for years, attending events at Windsor Castle and Sandringham. Flight logs and photos place Andrew and Epstein together repeatedly, even after Epstein's 2008 conviction for soliciting a minor. Andrew claimed in his famous 2019 BBC interview that he cut ties with Epstein in 2010 after that conviction. But emails show Andrew contacted Epstein on Christmas Day 2010, sending him a homemade family message. He wasn't cutting ties, he was keeping them warm. The question everyone in Britain is now asking is simple: how much did the palace know, and how long did they protect him? Andrew Mountbatten Windsor went from being a prince, to losing his titles, to losing his home. The Epstein files didn't just expose one man, they exposed a system that protected powerful people for decades. And for the first time, that system appears to be cracking. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Andrew will actually face charges, or will the royal family find a way to make this disappear like they always have?